56.2. What are we starting with?
Kim Jong-un, the summit.
All right, the summit. So this coming week, Trump is going to meet in Singapore with Kim Jong-un. And, you know, what I hear on my brainwashing liberal media is that any president, any of the recent presidents could have met with any of the Jongs. But Trump is the only one who bestowed the prestige of a meeting on this tin pot dictator, which isn't entirely fair because at previous points in history, the North Korea wasn't so close to being able to deliver a nuclear weapon to America. So it is probably more imperative that somebody meet with the guy than it was under previous administrations.
That's remarkably balanced and fair of you, Rick.
Thanks. I'm the Fox News of myself.
I think that it's a foregone conclusion that they wouldn't be doing this if he wasn't going to denuclearize. It's possible that there is a trick involved, that they've got a bomb hidden in a suitcase somewhere, as I said last week. But I think the Trump team is a bunch of very cynical, very hard-nosed patriots, and they will insist on rigorous inspections throughout the North Korea. So I think my guess is that North Korea will denuclearize and that Trump will sail to re-election.
Well,
And furthermore, if an excellent agreement is reached before November, there will be a red wave.
I tend to disagree with that, but there are the two dimensions to the talks, to the two dimensions of success. One is whether we actually do something to reduce the danger of North Korea, and two is whether this gives Trump a big boost and the rest of the Republican Party. I know you don't have anything to say about this, Dee Dee, right? Not too much.
I don't think that they're going to denuclearize. He's been on the record for saying he's not going to do that.
But basically, it's trading denuclearization for a bunch of party favors. We give them a bunch of stuff, including friendship, and they are like, all right, we'll give up our junk.
I mean, 60% of their population is starving, and when we issued sanctions against them, I think the thing that hurt them the most was they were given a deadline by January, I think. I'm not for sure. Earlier this year, China was supposed to stop doing business with the North Koreans, and they've kicked out all of their businesses from China, and it just, their poverty level increases when there are no jobs. And so I think this has more to do with that, but I don't think that they're going to give up their
It's always been, throughout history, for the last few decades, it's always been belligerents versus sandwiches. We negotiate with them, and we say, well, yeah, we'll help you out, and they're like, all right, thanks. Give them. You were going to talk about your voyage from being a staunch Republican to becoming an independent.
Yeah, I think the reason why I was a Republican for so long was because I joined the military, the Air Force, during Gulf War I, and under George W.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Under George Bush Sr. And I was impressed with him just being able to get in and get out of the whole, mess with Saddam Hussein, even though we essentially created them as monsters. That's a different topic. But I was impressed with the national security policies under Bush Sr. And I've been a Republican ever since, and until 2012. And I saw a lot of the hypocrisy, not just with the large government, free enterprise thinking, immigration, Christian compassionatism, pro-life. All of the pillars, pro-family values, that's out the window, obviously, with the kids being forced apart from their mom and dads. But I just saw the hypocrisy, and I couldn't take it anymore, and I'm an independent for life. And I think I'm going to be that way. But I do vote for one last I did vote for one Republican in 2016, John McCain, Senator John McCain, and I believe he's a hero. And I saw the change in the Republican Party when John McCain was up against Mitt Romney, and the way that Fox News demonized a former POW, or not a former POW, but a prisoner of war and veteran. And essentially they just demonized John McCain, and I saw the whole media hype pulling for Mitt Romney and this whole anti-immigrant sentiment, in my view anti-Mexican, anti-anchor babies, anti. They've become the anti people. But I used to think, putting my former Republican hat on, I used to think that Republicans were more patriotic than liberals. And
I
that's...
think Lance accuses liberals of being socialists who want to destroy America. But before we get to that, do you blame John McCain for Sarah Palin, who kind of ushered in the Yahoo era of
No, I think
politics?
that was his Hail Mary. I think he knew that there are more women voters than male voters, and I think that was his Hail Mary card. Bottom line, I
Do you
think he
think
was
that we
going for
would
the
have-
Hillary people.
Do you think we'd have President Trump without vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin?
Do you think we would have him with Sarah Palin? No.
No, if she hadn't been on the ticket, do you think we'd have a president? Do you think she kind of started acclimating Americans to the idea of Yahoo wild card,
Yeah.
crazy ass politicians as opposed to politicians
I-
with more gravitas?
If Trump had Palin on the ticket, I don't think there would be a Trump presidency.
Well, do you think we're stuck in the era where it's okay for politicians to be kind of amateurs the way Palin was and the way Trump is?
Do you think we're stuck?
Like, I mean, when it used to be, I read a bunch of science fiction stories in the 60s and 70s when there was a lot of turmoil in America, similar to now. A lot of anger over Vietnam, a lot of division between young and old, between liberals and conservatives, and novels, science fiction, there were a bunch of novels set in the near future in the 90s and the 2000s where the president was kind of a clownish, kind of Trumpian figure who was kind of kept in place via advertising and public relations, but was kind of just an empty suit who had no political expertise but looked good on camera. Do you think we're stuck with that, or do you think we'll have competent politicians?
I have hope for the millennials. I don't think that we're going to be stuck for long with our current increasing voter demographics that are slowly but surely getting better, and with the aging population that is essentially dying. I think we're going to get better. I think we're going to get more, be more open-minded.
Should old white people who can't wipe their butts be allowed to vote?
Yes, they should be allowed to vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what's our next topic?
The patriotism. Who's more patriotic, conservatives or?
I don't think Republicans are as patriotic as they seem to be. Look how they treated John McCain. Look how Donald Trump, who essentially avoided the draft through medical deferments numerous times, the way that he treats people
For bone
like John.
spurs in his feet that mysteriously haven't ever shown up in any other context.
Yeah, I mean, and look at the way that they treated John McCain. And now, I think the Republican Party is made up of two sides. You have the moderates who are still there lingering, hoping that the Republican will be that Ronald Reagan Republican Party, the party of Abe Lincoln. But you've got that Tea Party faction that essentially hijacked the Republican Party. That's why I left the party for good. But they claim to be more patriotic, but in my view, I don't think that's correct.
Well, Hans?
The Democrats lost the Vietnam War.
Lance has a theory. I don't know if you saw those many episodes.
Do I get interrupted every?
Just all right. We'll say your theory.
They attempted to lose the Iraq War by pulling the troops out. They did as much as they could to lose the Iraq War when Obama pulled the troops out. They allowed ISIS to take over huge portions of the Middle East. They made a deal with Iran so that Iran could get nuclear weapons unmolested. And they are engaged in bringing in as many millions of people from other countries as they possibly can because they know they'll vote Democrat. So that is a recipe for internal hatred of the country and external hatred of the country. So the Democrats will get us to lose every war, and the Democrats will subvert our country from within as much as possible. So yes, the Democrats hate Christianity, they hate the traditional America, and they hate capitalism. If you hate those three things, you're basically wrong about everything. And that's my explanation as to why the Democrats are always wrong.
I like capitalism.
If you like capitalism.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We're a mixed economy.
Yeah, and I you think that you keep telling me that I pay too much in taxes living in California. But
Yeah.
last year, I did my own taxes for the first time,
Oh no,
and
not the math.
when I paid less than 3% of our income to the state of California. You say it's exorbitant.
Okay, well, in Republican states like Florida and Texas, they don't have any state income tax at all, and somehow they get by. In California, you have 13% because the Democrats run the state. If you added up the amount of money you've given to state income tax in your lifetime in California, it would be a massive amount of money. And you enjoy paying that. I don't know why, but more power to you.
Well, for one, our kid had excellent public education. It was tough.
Which you would have gotten in Texas or Florida as well.
Maybe. I mean,
Somehow they managed to have-
Now,
they
my
managed
wife
to
had
have
hold on.
education.
My wife had to work really hard to get because the LA public schools were
You
largely.
don't have to thank the Democrats for that education. They're taking the money extra on top of what other states provide as services.
I don't know. We just found.
We had education under the Republican governors too.
When we were young, most public schools in the country were considered to be
Is
adequate.
this wrong? I mean, this is dated late last year that turns out that California is expecting an $8 billion surplus in state budget revenue.
Thank you, Dee Dee. That $8 billion
Surplus.
should be in Rick and my pocket.
While Texas is looking at an $8 billion deficit. So that whole Republican argument you just gave is debunked.
Well, no, actually, you've strengthened it.
No.
Because it means that the state is taking $8 billion more than they should be.
Yeah, that's 50
my
cents
goodness.
per California.
I don't care.
You don't
I
care.
don't care.
55 cents.
I don't care.
It's those plastic bags that I'm forced to buy.
Yeah, that works out. I mean, if you buy a lot of groceries every day. Those,
Okay, so not only is the state
The
taking...
weed, maybe?
Not only is the state of California taking 13% more than they should out of our every year, but they're even taking an extra $8 billion that they don't even need. It's a surplus.
yeah,
bet
you
it
like
has to do
driving the
with the
streets
marijuana.
of LA, Lance? You like how the potholes...
But they're not giving that surplus to the potholes, I assure you, Rick. $15 billion, by the way, goes to illegal aliens.
Oh, well, I thought you said that the immigrants in California were depressing California, but it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of depression going on with an $8 billion surplus.
Well, that just means the taxes are too high, Dee Dee.
It's because immigrants aren't getting their taxes back because it's taxation without representation, so they don't get a refund.
So you want immigrants, you want illegal aliens to be able to
Hey,
vote?
I'm an American. I believe there should be representation for those who are being taxed by the federal
You
government.
think illegal aliens should be able to vote, Dee Dee?
This way.
Eventually,
Oh, yeah, when they get citizens.
yeah, when they become United States citizens.
You know where my taxes are too damn low, Lance? On our house. The property taxes on mine and Carol's house are 0.4%, less than 0.5% of that house's value, thanks to Prop 13, which is a 40-year-old law which limits the increase in property tax.
We instituted that law because people were losing their
The
houses.
old people couldn't afford it, but now it's...
Yeah, you don't give a damn about those old people that
Texas
were
sucks.
they were losing their houses
Well, now I'm one of
because
those-
they could not afford to pay their property taxes.
Now I'm one of those old people who has a sweet deal, less than 0.5%, where my brother, for his house in New York, pays something like 12 times as much in property taxes.
Another
as I do.
Democrat state that didn't have a tax revolt. Thank you for proving my point yet again.
Yeah,
Rick.
but I mean,
You argued my point again.
California-
This is just great. I can just be quiet.
but at least in one dimension, California.
Dee Dee
is-
wants illegals to vote, and Rick wants more taxes.
I'm
This is
just- I'm just
fantastic.
saying,
Thank you. Vote with Dee Dee. Dee Dee and Rick, they'll raise your taxes, and they'll bring in more illegal aliens. Listen, the Democrat platform for you right there, guys.
Just in one very important dimension, property taxes are crazy low.
I know an undocumented immigrant that I served with that is more patriotic than Lance. He was an according to Lance, he's an alien, an illegal alien, but we were taught that they were our comrade and our brother in the military.
so this is
and he was more patriotic, in my view, than
You know
Lance,
what?
the likes of Lance. and he wasn't even a U.S. citizen, willing to die for our nation
if
during
he's-
Gulf War.
If he served in the military, I would make certain exceptions.
But you would still call him an illegal alien, right?
Well, until he's an American citizen.
Well, in
Did he
my
get
view, when
citizenship?
they work, but there are veterans who are deported who served 1 or 2 or 3
Okay.
tours in Iraq
under
because
those-
the government didn't assist in making sure that they were documented.
Under
they
the-
get deported.
Under those circumstances, if somehow they've squeezed into the military, which they should not have happened, but if they
Oh, they could freely enlist.
if they
It should not
perform-
have happened.
If they perform that kind of service, I would make exceptions.
They didn't squeeze in.
Well,
the
they shouldn't be
military
here.
recruits them. They know what they're doing.
I don't think it's a good idea to bring in people into the military that aren't here legally. But if it happens, then as I said
So-
for a fourth time,
so-
I will make exceptions.
So somebody shows
I
up at the
think it
border
should
asking
happen.
for asylum and fills out a form and says, I will enlist in the military.
No,
and
this
fight
is
for
getting,
you."
no, it's getting ridiculous.
I think that's a good idea.
Here's the problem. People that are showing up at the border because of they're refugees, that's being abused. Most of those people are not refugees. They're just claiming that because it's an easy in. And we're back on this topic again. Can we
All right,
go
so-
to something
All right,
else?
what's our next?
Here's my
So, breaking news, the Tony Awards were tonight.
Okay.
And Robert De Niro was up there introducing Bruce Springsteen. And he went on this tirade, and he had a few choice words for Donald Trump.
He said F Trump, right? F-
Exactly.
he
How
said
do you,
F.
since we are shooting from Los Angeles, this is the heart of the entertainment capital of the world. How do you feel, all three of you folks feel about what Robert De Niro said, and also about artists in the entertainment industry expressing their political views and using their fame as a soapbox to express their views?
I'm okay with it as long as I think people should be free to say what they want to say. And yeah, celebrities have an easier time getting attention for their points of view, though it's not like 10 years ago before social media. Anybody can express their point of view, on Twitter and stuff. And of course, it's easier if you have 5 million
When the shoes
followers.
drop.
I'm for Robert De Niro saying "fuck Trump" twice. I'm for freedom of speech. I'm for you know, actors who use their notoriety to express a message. And
often, you know, actors often, I'm not saying every actor is a genius, but it does help to be smart if you want to be an actor. You know, as everybody comes out here to be an actor thinking, you know, they're good looking and they were in their high school musical, but it's the smart, talented people who persevere and who end up getting work, and often those people are smart and they end up being well informed. They have the wherewithal to learn more. Like, I trust a lot of what Clooney has to say about his issues. I think he's probably well informed about those issues. You know, Lindsay Lohan, perhaps slightly less. They were talking about a certain amount of a double standard, because De Niro can say F Trump, but Samantha Bee can't call Ivanka a feckless see you next Tuesday without really being slammed. And Roseanne can't, you know, loses her show. So people are wondering if there's a double standard for men and women. Anybody?
Well, all right. I have a weird opinion on this one, because I think that it's going to be. I'm a pretty mouthy guy, and I find it really hard not to talk politics when I shouldn't. So I can't really blame people that want to use the platform to talk politics. But here's where my opinion gets strange. I think 20 years from now, Trump will be considered one of our greatest presidents, the way Reagan was, and the way Reagan is. And I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of actors that are going to have records on YouTube of what fools they were. To hate this guy that is going to make the economy incredible. He's going to denuclearize North Korea. He crushed ISIS. And millions and millions of people are going back to work. So eventually there's just going to be a record of how a lot of people were stuck in this weird brainwashing that they have to hate Trump. And he won't deserve it, and it'll just show how foolish they were.
I'll agree with you about Reagan. Reagan had perhaps the greatest hair of any American president.
I don't think, but the millennials, I don't know how often you guys are, how in touch you are with the future generation, the millennials, the younger generation, but they're just not a generation who embraces bigotry. And I don't think that Trump will be recognized as one of the greats. Now, Ronald Reagan will, obviously, Abraham Lincoln, President Obama.
Yeah, though frickin' Reagan initiated a lot of trend. I think Reagan would be at least somewhat appalled at the current state of the Republicans.
I don't think you have any proof that Trump is a bigot. I think that's just an unfair.
He's a misogynist.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Prove it.
His whole, did you not see the video clip where he was telling one of the journalists about grabbing people or women's pussies?
Yeah, he said that.
You don't think that's misogynism?
Actually, Dee Dee, he said that if you're a billionaire, don't interrupt me.
He said if you're a star.
If you're a star, you can meet a woman and grab her on the pussy and she won't care. And you know what? That's true. You don't have to be a misogynist. If George Clooney or any billionaire wants to grab a woman, most of the time the woman is very receptive to
I bet you George Clooney does not go around
Men are
grabbing
paying for it,
women.
including Trump. Trump will eventually pay.
I don't think George Clooney grabs women
But look at Bill
by
Cosby.
the vagina.
I mean, all these men who participated in sexist.
Trump didn't rape anybody, and he didn't grab anyone by the pussy.
We don't know that he's raped somebody.
No, it was a figure of
He's being
speech.
sued by
You don't
was a
know
figure
that
of
he has
speech.
not raped.
All he was
anybody.
saying was that women are incredibly receptive to billionaires and famous people, and that's true.
Rick has a point. Why don't you talk about the lawsuit?
Yeah, he's being sued by at least half a dozen women for for various degrees of sexual aggression.
You know what? Every single person that the Democrats hate is being sued. By they managed to find some woman that'll sue them. That doesn't prove anything. We're innocent until proven guilty. Rick and Dee Dee?
Fine. But as far as the racial stuff, I mean, he's on record.
What racial stuff?
Like he
What-
came
what?
out against the Central Park Five and never quit coming out against the Central Park Five.
That's not a racial thing.
They were black.
Well, they were black, but they were accused of raping a woman to a coma.
Yeah, but-
So what?
Well, they were.
What does it have to do with
exonerated. It
color,
was
Rick?
proved that
What does it have to do with color, Rick?
They were. It was
Do you
proved-
think he would have been in favor of rape had they not been black?
He also said his company, that when he was running it with his dad, was proven to racially profile and deny apartments to
Okay,
black
he
people.
denies that, and
Yeah,
that
but
was
they were-
that
it
was
was-
a
it was
class
found-
action suit that affected all the apartments in New York. They didn't
Yeah.
single him out.
Yeah, but he
What
was
about
found
that
guilty
time
of
when
that.
he
Yeah,
was walking into the dressing room at?
but there's also the racial thing. Like he found out he had black accountants
Wait,
on
wait,
his
wait,
staff.
wait. Trump was walking into the dressing room at the Miss Universe pageant, and you know what?
No, those
high
women.
five? No high five?
The women don't
There was
appreciate
Miss
that.
Teen USA too.
They
I mean-
don't appreciate. You know, you have to respect women's privacies.
It
And
was-
I thought you were the Christian, the Republican, the conservative, the one that's supposed to embrace all these delicious Christian values, and you're like, oh yeah, fist bump and high five, and let's see beautiful naked women. I mean, you're a hypocrite, Lance.
I don't blame him.
What about
Dee Dee,
16-year-olds? What
Dee
about
Dee,
17-year-olds?
No,
Oh my
I
God.
do not blame a guy for walking into the dressing room of the Miss
Very
Universe.
What about Miss
unprofessional.
Teen
It's
USA? 'Cause he did
unprofessional.
that
I'm
too.
sorry.
That's teenagers.
I don't care if it's unprofessional.
It's
What about
disgusting.
teenagers, Lance? What about
He's a
17-year-old
perv.
girls?
He's a
No,
pervert.
if they're under 18, that's wrong.
All right, well, he did that too. Anyway, what about when he was caught saying, he found out he had black accountants in his casinos. And he said, I don't want black accountants. I want accountants with yarmulkes. He won't.
Okay, you know what? He
there's a
denies
whole-
that, and I'm not going to say that Trump, a guy whose daughter is Jewish, is anti-Semitic. A guy that has raised the unemployment for blacks, the greatest employment numbers in history for blacks and Hispanics and women. That is Trump's legacy, not the crap that you two come up with because of your liberal media and your gotcha. He said a joke. He said this. He looked at a woman funny. Millions and millions of blacks, Hispanics, and women are working, and more than they ever have in history because of this man.
No.
If he is a racist,
It's not
if he's a racist, Dee Dee, then he should be working against
The
them.
market
No,
crashed
that's-
under
that's-
Bush. The economic policies of Obama and the administration, you saw the economy
No, it didn't.
getting
No, it
better
didn't. No,
and
it didn't.
better. The
Dee Dee,
GDP.
Dee Dee, I know the figures.
No.
The
Okay,
GDP.
fine. I'm gonna look them up right
Dee
now.
Dee, Dee Dee, no, shh. Let me predict. Under Obama, the GDP averaged 1.8 growth.
It's still
No, no.
growth. It's still
but,
growth.
Sweetheart, listen. The growth rate for every other president has been over 3%.
Obama inherited a bullshit.
It doesn't
economy.
matter.
It does matter.
No, listen, Dee Dee.
Oh my God.
Even-
Every other president?
This guy's crazy.
No, wait,
Listen,
wait, hold on.
Let
Hold
me
on,
finish my
not-
point.
what about
Let me
not under
finish my
Trump?
point.
GDP
Let me
increase.
finish my Let me finish my point. Under every single president, the GDP has hit 3%. Even presidents coming out of depressions.
Hoover? Nah.
Hoover was during the depression.
Oh, so I guess he doesn't count?
Well, that
What about Trump? Because
No.
the GDP hasn't hit
Okay,
3% under Trump. It hit 2.3.
listen. Every American president has had a GDP of 3%.
Not Trump.
Trump
No.
Trump is at 3%.
He's
It's
not.
over 3%.
No, he's
it's
not.
projected to be 4%.
You
He's
said
not.
1%. You were wrong.
It's
The
what?
Obama era rose 3% on a quarterly basis.
No,
Eight
that's not true.
times.
It's not true.
No, that is true.
Rick, please.
Fortune.com.
Please.
It's
It has
Fortune
to
magazine.
Yeah, it has to go for a whole year to count. It can't be one quarter, Dee Dee. You don't understand the way the statistics go.
Yeah, but under Trump's first year, it
You're
was
going to hit
Trump's,
my sculpture. No, move forward, please, or away from the sculpture.
Trump's first year was under 2.5%. So it's him and Obama who
Okay.
didn't hit 3%.
Okay, Rick, he's hitting well over 3%.
No, we looked it up. We had this
He's
argument.
at
I looked at-
He's at 3.7% now.
He's not. That was a prediction
He's-
of where it would
no,
be, but he's
no,
not.
he's-
He's at 2.3%.
That's not true. We can look it
Q1
up.
of 2018.
No, we'll have to look it up. Listen
I
to me.
looked it up.
No, we'll have to look it up. Okay, this quarter, it did go down. I'll grant you that. It went to 2.3, but it's projected to go to 4 within a year.
Yeah, so I mean, there's lots of
And it's been
we're
over,
gonna have flying
it's
cars by
averaged,
2030.
it is averaged over 3%.
It hasn't. He was under
Yes.
3%. He was. We'll look it up. He was
One
not.
quarter it was bad.
No,
but
the 4 quarters of 2017 averaged like 2.5, and we'll look it up. But one more thing about: do you think Russia should be invited back into the G7 to make it the G8? That's what Trump wants to do. Do you care about that? If you don't, I've got just a quick point.
What's your quick point?
Well, the G7 or G8 is supposed to be the world's most productive economies. Russia is among the world economies in 11th or 12th or 13th place, depending on whose list you look at. And when it comes to GDP per capita, they're in the 60s. So they're not, I don't know why they would be invited with their pretty crappy economy. Why we'd want to let them back in. If we're going to let another country back in, could be China, could be India, could be Brazil.
Well, he's probably got some angle. I mean, if he's suggesting that, he probably wants concessions in the Middle East or the Ukraine. It's probably a bargaining chip.
All right, we're going to break fast and look up GDP?
Well, I mean, the annual GDP growth during the Obama era rose as high as 2.9 under Obama, but it never breached 3%. So he's fussing over the 0.1%.
Okay.
But what he doesn't seem to understand is after the Obama era, things continue to get better unless like a catastrophic event such as 9/11 takes place. So Trump is benefiting off of Obama's.
No, that's not true, because what was happening was, I've seen the charts. Now listen to me, don't interrupt me. The reason that it wasn't getting better under Obama is because it was stagnating. The labor statistics were getting better under Obama steadily. The GDP was going up and down and up and down. It was leveling. It wasn't getting better. Now it's going up. Okay, under Trump.
You act like it's going like skyrocketing high, and
it's
not.
They're projecting that it may go to 4.
Yeah, but that's a projection.
Yeah, but the point is that we know. Look, wait, it will happen. Okay, and the reason is that the employment is fantastic, and the GDP is going up steadily. It's going in a. It's going down, but it's going up. The progression is upward. It's not leveling like it was under Obama.
And look it up.
How's it going to happen with the tariffs that we're imposing in Canada?
That's a separate issue. Are we still filming?
Yeah.
The tariffs are a separate issue. What's happening with the tariffs is he's using that as a bargaining chip. He doesn't want the tariffs any more than they do.
Or he's just kind of a random mad dog who's going around and
what he's
chewing
doing,
up like the couches and
No.
pooping every place, and then you guys come up with explanations after the fact.
No, what he's doing is he's telling them if that Canada is taxing our steel 300%, they're putting a 300% tariff on our steel, and if they don't behave fairly, we're willing to go to the mat. We're not going to take it anymore. And that means imposing tariffs on them. Sorry, guys. All right, can we break now?
Really, really quick, and because we have 7 minutes and we can finish this off, we can start another tape. But I just wanted to, there's 2 things. In terms of the Trump administration, there's a lot of women in the Trump administration. I'd like a comment about that. And then secondly, the homelessness here in Los Angeles. You see a lot of the homeless people.
All right, let me comment on the first thing.
Okay,
which is, just because somebody's a woman doesn't mean she doesn't suck. Betsy DeVos sucks. Kristen Nielsen, the head
Ivanka
of...
sucks.
Hmm?
Ivanka.
Ivanka kind of sucks. Christian, whatever, head of Homeland Security kind of sucks. She's part of the Christian Nielsen pulling. She's not,
Huckabee?
yeah, she's not the most truthful. I mean, they're not the best. The woman who had to quit because of what she said about McCain, that you don't have
Right. I'm glad she's out.
to.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Absolutely.
just the gender of somebody doesn't automatically mean they're awesome.
Lance?
I just think it's vile how you guys are so petty. You pick on anybody just because they're a Republican. You have to hate them.
Well, no, Betsy
And
DeVos
I don't
is
think
like,
there's anything wrong with. I don't see any reason to attack the guy's wife and daughter, Dee Dee. I don't
Wait,
think
which
that's
guy's-
cool.
Oh, Ivanka? She's
Yeah.
part of the
I
administration.
didn't. Did I attack his wife?
You thought she sucked?
Did I attack his wife?
No,
though?
his daughter.
Because let's go about his wife though, the one
No,
that
let's
spits
not-
soft porn, but Republicans consider porn like this huge sin, but oh, it's not a sin when it's, Melania.
I don't consider nude women a sin.
Well,
If
of
I
course
did,
not. You're an artist, but the
Right.
Republicans, your Republican cohorts, do consider porn and soft porn and naked
No,
pictures.
I don't.
A
and
bad thing.
I don't know any Republicans that are against nude women. And
Okay,
you know,
let me look that up. But
No,
there are
I-
several Republican preachers out there that are.
I don't care if there's some kook preacher that is against nudity. I'm not against nudity. I know hundreds of Republicans personally that are not against nudity. I'm not offended by Melania taking her clothes off in magazines. I wish she would do it more. And if you have any images of Melania naked, please send
These
them
are
to
the
me.
same Republican, your cohort,
I don't care about
who criticized Michelle Obama for wearing no sleeves. And
I don't
yeah, no,
care.
I do care about the hypocrisy.
No. Here's the deal. You're the one that's a hypocrite because you're attacking this woman for taking her clothes off in public. I thought you had Christian compassion. You judge her. You judge her.
your Republican cohort hypocrites who judge
I don't know-
themselves.
I don't
They
know who
judge
these- I don't know
Michelle
who they are.
Obama
I'm not
for
one of
wearing
them.
sleeveless dresses.
I'm not one of them.
But
I
say
don't-
nothing
I don't
towards.
care if
of
Michelle
course you don't
wore
care.
sleeveless
but
dresses.
for the record, your Republican cohort
Who? Name 100.
attacked
Name them. Name one.
several. I will. We can go on break and I'll. I'm
Republicans
sure I can
that
come up with a list.
Republicans that cared that Michelle Obama wore a sleeveless dress, I don't give a damn.
Well, of
and none
course
of the
not.
Republicans
Everything's
that
I don't
know
care when
well,
things
no,
don't
because
benefit
it's
you.
irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
It is relevant.
What I think is sick is that open-minded, compassionate liberals are attacking this poor woman because she took her clothes off in a magazine.
Maybe I'm attacking.
You are,
We are attacking-
you're as judgmental as the worst preacher in the South.
I am the biggest critic, and I'm no preacher, by the way. You're the party who preaches.
No,
not
I
the
don't preach.
liberals,
I don't
not the
preach.
independents.
I don't preach. But wait a minute. You're
Your
the one that
Republican
brought it up.
cohorts are
You're
the one who
that
bring
brought it
God
up.
into everything. They're the ones who are saying, don't take the 10 Commandments out of the courthouse. Blah, blah, blah. Everything's religion to Republicans. And so, and this includes porn. They are very against. Conservatives are very against
I am
that.
also against porn. I'm against porn. I'm not against nudity. And you're the one that brought it up. So who's the hypocrite?
Could judge
Oh, I'm not the
Melania.
hypocrite.
You are-
Republicans
no, no, no,
are the
no,
hypocrites.
no, no, no.
The religious
Then
Republicans.
can you please admit here in front of our billions of listeners across the world that you are supportive of Melania taking her clothes off in a magazine? Is that okay with you?
I'm not supporting the First Lady being a former soft porn person.
Oh, so you judge her. You're against her. You look down on her.
I don't believe that the hypocrisy in your party should be
My
ignored.
party. Forget. We don't.
The
you know what?
hypocrisy in
You know
your
what?
party
Listen.
does not believe in
Dee.
soft porn,
Dee.
and you're saying it's okay. You like to turn the other way
Dee,
when it comes to women,
Dee,
You guys,
sex labor.
Hey, you guys, hey, hold on.
No,
hold on. You could judge Melania for posing nude before her work visa was issued and after it expired.
She was an illegal, according to your standards. She was considered undocumented.
She broke the law. She's showing off her lady parts when it wasn't legally permissible for her to do so.
All right. I would just like to say that there are actors, artists. I mean, David Bowie couldn't play a concert at the Rose Bowl if we were to take it to that extreme. But beyond that, I want to point out that I'm not defending every single Republican that is against nudity. What's happening is you're judging Melania. In this room, we have 3 people, and the only person judging Melania is you.
No.
You're the hypocrite because you're judging
no,
her
no,
for
no.
taking her clothes off.
You're twisting
in public.
my words. I am judging.
Well, no, I'm asking you.
I am judging.
Are you in favor?
I-
Is it okay with you that Melania took her clothes off in a magazine? Yes or no?
I don't think that's okay.
I don't
So
think
you're the one judging.
Look, I don't think we
I
can.
think everybody judges.
I don't.
Oh, yes, you do.
I'd be very happy.
You judge continuously in the episodes.
I would be very happy if my wife took her clothes off in Playboy. I'd love it. So you go for it, girl.
You know what I'm the most judgmental about? The Republican hypocrites who chastise Michelle Obama for wearing sleeveless
I was not one
dresses.
of them. I was not one of them.
You're the 1%.
Actually,
You're the 1%. You're the rare
I
exception.
never, in my life, Dee Dee, I personally, just anecdotal, it's just my life, I never met anyone.
Have you worked
that-
in any
I
Republican
never-
campaigns
I
ever?
I never heard anybody that cared what was on Melania's arms.
It's because maybe
No,
you
no,
haven't
listen.
worked in
All right, wait, I
campaigns.
got one thing to say. We can't judge Melania unless we're going to judge Mamie Eisenhower for her topless photo shoot in Stars and Stripes Armed Forces newspaper in June 1944.
Ten seconds.
Did that happen?
No. Come on.
Do we have time for Voltaire?
Are we gonna do any more?
All right, subscribe. Y volver, volver, volver
A tus brazos otra vez.